Alright everyone, welcome back to this YouTube channel. So I am Goba Ivan, and in today's video we shall now be looking at an application from Microsoft, and that is Microsoft Excel spreadsheet. So having looked at Microsoft Word, another important application that you have to also know is what we call Microsoft Excel. Now quick to start with, here on my desktop, to locate the Microsoft Excel, just like how we located the Word application, just come over here to the search icon and you just write the Excel. So when you write Excel, the icon also just pops up here. As you can see here, it's green, it shows Excel up. And so I want to go ahead and click this open. So when I click open, it's opening, and as I said in the previous video, that these applications from Microsoft have different versions. This is 2019. Yours might be a newer version or an older one, but it doesn't matter. They both perform the same functions and they basically have the same features, much as the newer ones might have more advanced or improved features. But for this video, it will work out for any version that you are using. So here at this interface, you can see after opening our app, we have some of these features here. And as usual, when you browse, you come to, like, it has pre-made templates that you can use in your designs. You can check on what would fit your preference, and then you choose what's best for you. So when you are choosing these pre-made templates here, make sure that you choose what is the best for you, and it's good actually for startup. So but for us, we want to go with the blank workbook. So when I click on this blank workbook, it brings me here. Now this is the interface of Microsoft Excel, and so it has different features just like Word, and we are going to be diving into these features one by one. So as I said in the previous video, most of these features here have special names, and we have what they call tabs, ribbons, and also the launch button. So as you can see, we also have a home tab here, insert tab, the draw tab, page layout, formulas, and there are very many tabs here. So each tab, as usual, has its own ribbon, and these ribbons here are what we use. It contains the features that we are going to be using. So for example, when I come to the home ribbon, it has all these features here. This is now the ribbon, the home tab. I mean, when I press it, you see this ribbon here, and each of these ribbon has groups. For example, this is the font group, the alignment group, the number group, and style group, and so on. It also just goes on like that, and there are very many features. So now we do have this. Now this is what we call a spreadsheet. Now this spreadsheet is where you are going to be working. You put your data here, you manipulate everything on this spreadsheet here. Besides that, I would also want you to know that this spreadsheet is made up of columns and rows. So when I click here, you see that these are columns. This 1 2 3 numbered this way, they are the rows. However, when I click here, these are columns. They are in alphabet, so they have been named in alphabetical order: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and they go all up to the end. So know that a spreadsheet is made up of what you call rows and what you call columns. So besides that, this is now what we call a cell. Now each of these small box that you see here is what is called a cell. When I click on this, I'm clicking inside a cell. So that is a cell. And now we can have actually what you call a range. Now a range is just a group of cells. For example, if I open this like this, that is now a group of cells. Maybe if I have this, so that is what you call a range. A range is simply a group of cells. When I try to open as many cells as I want, this is creating what you call a range. Now also, apart from that, we do have these alphabets up here on these columns here, and these alphabets are very important. Each of these cell has its own name. You can name it. So for example, this over here is called A1, and this over here is called B1. This here is called B2. So notice that the alphabet comes first and then the numerical comes after that. So when I click on this cell here, this is G1, and when I click here, this is G11. So on the column side, it's letter G, and on the row side, it is the number 11. So when I click on this, all of these have their specific names. So I want us to create a simple spreadsheet, and then you see how this works. For example, we are going to create a list of students who offer maths. Maybe our heading, we can just write something like, so notice that when you're writing something, you have to click on this small box, and when you click on this, you now go inside the box and you start writing maybe list of students. So that is what I'm writing. There you go. So notice that when I click something like this, it looks as if this has overflapped and gone to the other box, but it's just an illusion. So when I click on this, you see that it looks like it has overflapped, but when I come here, I can write something that's individual in this box. So what I do when I have this problem, I just come up here, and then when that cursor shows like that, you just hold it down and you drag this line over here. So when I drag the line, you see that it has adjusted. I can drag it as far as I want. So there, it has automatically fit there. So I can have, like here, I have let me say names. Sorry, I can say names. Then over here I will have class, and then I can have maybe the marks in maths, eh? And then maybe in English, I'm already using this spreadsheet to enter my data. So for example, the first name can maybe Ivan, the second name. So for you to move through this cells, just use your arrow key, the up, down, and the sideways arrow keys. You can use them for moving through this cell. Like when I click on these arrow keys on your keyboard, it moves you automatically. So maybe I put here Mary, I put here John, then I put here Francis. So these are names that I'm just using for an example. So here maybe I say Ivan is a senior one student, so I put here senior one. Mary might be a senior two student, and John can be a senior three student, while Francis can be a senior four student. So there we can even input their marks. For example, in English, I got 67, and then Mary got perhaps 65. I may this John have 98, and then we have Francis getting 90. I'm just inputting data. Notice how I move with my cursor and my keyboard just to show you how you can easily input data here. So let's say, for example, in English here, Ivan got 32, and then Mary got 45, and John got 26, and Francis got 89. So now you have seen that I've already input my data. Now, there are these important features that we have already looked at in Word that are also applying almost the same here. So what I can do here, I can format all these texts I've put. Like for example, when I click on this, and when you double click on this, I can highlight these texts, and then I can bold it with this bold feature here. When I bold that, it looks more like a heading. But remember, I want my heading to be in the middle. I don't want it to like cover only this space. I want these lines to be ignored. So to do that, you're going to highlight this, the whole of the cell. You're going to highlight, yes, you're going to highlight the whole of this cell up to where the line stops. So when you're after highlighting, you come to this feature here called Merge and Center. So when I click on that, see that? It now looks like a heading, and there you go. My heading is now in the center. So besides that, I can also bold these little headings here. Maybe I want it to be appearing bold, so I highlight everything, and then I apply the bold feature. So you can see it looks now more like a professional looking table. Now, this is just a sample of how you can create a spreadsheet for any data or any information that you want to insert or keep here. Now, I can also do another important feature. Like, for example, I can insert a table, like a frame that will have the outline of this table. For example, now when I highlight my work like this, I can come over here, and when I click on this border, I can apply a border. When I click on this drop down arrow here, there are different types of, you can only apply maybe the border to the top, to the left, to the right, but in this case I want to apply all borders so that it looks more professional. So when I click on that, there you go, it has applied borders on my document. So these features here are for mostly formatting your work. These are now for alignment of the text, as we have looked at. And then you also have pictures. You can insert pictures into your spreadsheet program so that you are able to maybe put anything that you want. You can even insert shapes. You can insert very many things that you want. Apart from that, here you can also like change the color of this. There are very many ways you can format this. You can draw, see this feature. You can also the page layout, you can make it portrait, you can change the background. And another important thing is that here you can actually insert charts. Now, for example, if I want to insert a chart for these student names, so I want these students to be represented in a graphical format or in an illustration, I can just highlight this. When I highlight these names, excuse me, so I can just highlight these names. When I highlight these names like that, I have highlighted the names. So when I want to now highlight the other one, you first press down the control key, and then you start highlighting the details you want to be made. So when I highlight my work like that, I can now come over here to insert. That is the insert tab, and you see we have charts here. So in these charts here, you can have the recommended charts that we can use, which is already giving us some results already here. Or if you want, you can check for more. Maybe you want to use very many categories. You select from the one you want, any design, or even you want a pie chart. So we have a pie chart over here. So if you have a pie chart, this is how it will look. But in this case, I want to use a bar graph, and I want it to be like that. So you can see here, our data has been represented graphically, and someone who is just viewing can now observe it more easily compared to when you're just reading from the table. So this is one important powerful feature from Excel that you should also know. So that is basically the basics of this Excel software or this application from Microsoft. But for more, we are going to produce more advanced videos. This was just an introduction that you have to get so that you'll be able to know the fundamentals. And now that we have this, I want you to know that we have this is now a sheet. This was one sheet, so you can add more sheets to work on, like this plus icon here. When you click on it, this is now the second sheet we can add on it, and we can even as well edit that, like you right click, then you rename that sheet. Maybe you say Max, so it shows the sheet for Max. Then this second one here, if I right click, I can say rename. Then maybe I want to put here chart. So I want my chart to be on the second sheet. So when I come here, I can just cut this by pressing Ctrl X and putting it here on the chart uh, spreadsheet by now pressing Ctrl V, and there you go. So you have your chart on a different sheet, and now this chart and the mark is what makes a workbook. So this combination of different sheets is what is called a workbook. So thank you so much for being part of this video. It's a short wrap-up video that gets you through the introductory part. So for more details, we shall be making more advanced videos in the future where you learn computations, how to calculate things, like we have functions here in Word, how to sum up, how to automatically get average, there are mean functions, very many features that are still hidden. So we are going to create a video on that, on how to deal with Excel calculations. So make sure that you tune in and make sure that you subscribe to this channel to get all the latest updates. So now that you're done with your work, saving is just simple. You come to file and you get to save as. So when you come to save as, you select on the PC where you want this file to be. Maybe you want it to be on desktop. You click desktop and then you rename it. So you can say my sheet, maybe the way you want it. You can save my sheet, then you save. So it's being saved. When I close this window over here, you can now come and then you locate it. So when I check, it's here over here. So you can see that I have it here. It's here. So my sheet, when I double click on it, it just opens up like that, and here I have my sheet, so I can work on it, and it's simple. So thank you so much for being part of this video. Thank you so much, and may you subscribe to this YouTube channel to support us. And also, if there's any video you want us to make that you would want to understand something, feel free to ask, because we are ready to help. Thank you.